Hello, you beautiful nerds. Welcome to the Drunk Banthas podcast, where we talk about sci-fi, fantasy, horror, and all of the popular art that we love. Also, we do it drunk. I'm joined, as always, by my brother Bill. Bill, how you doing?
Man, I'm feeling it, man. I'm on a W diet.
What's PWW stand?
It's pussy, whiskey, and water. Goddamn, that's what I'm talking about.
You will die with this 2 weeks. You definitely need more than those 3 things to survive. I mean, but more power to you. Maybe you'll die with a smile on your face. I don't know. I hope so.
You asked me how I was doing.
My name's Alex, and today we are talking about episode 5 of the Marvel Disney Plus series Moon Knight, starring Oscar Isaac, Ethan Hawke, and May El Kalamawe.
Say that 6 times fast. That's what I want you to do right now, people. Say it 6 times fast.
Not
you,
much
Alex.
better at pronouncing
You did a good job right there. Y'all, pay some respect to this man and say it 5 times fast, right? At least.
Woman, it's the Egyptian lady that plays Layla.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm just saying. People. I'm talking to the listeners.
Oh, okay. The
listeners.
The
Not
royal.
proverbial, they listening.
Yeah, right. What did you think of this episode? Because a lot of things that we predicted last episode that was going to happen in this one ended up happening.
Yeah,
what
like
did you think?
Wouldn't see a suit. Said that wouldn't happen.
Yeah. Predicted that we were going to spend pretty much the whole time in this faux asylum thing. It's
because you've written a few scripts and a few couple bunch, and I've read some scripts and I've watched some TV.
We've been around the block a few times.
Yeah, been in a bottle episode before. You know, you can't run no things by me. I run in some tight circles with some people, and they told me, hey, this guy, he likes to do bottle episodes. You know, he's about that life. And
I like how you kind of sound like Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
First of all, Alex, what I need you to do is step 2 steps back onto your own property.
Yeah, it's a little lower tone, I guess.
Yeah.
I put 2 and 2 together and decided this TV show was pissing me off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I put 2 and 2 together and I realized, I fucking love this shit, man. It's fucking good. Hey, man, you know what? You made me really happy right there. And I just got to do a fucking Carl. I ain't did a Carl in a long time. And that was good. I appreciate you.
But you liked this episode? Did like this episode?
Like an Italian likes on a cannoli. Hey! No, yeah, I like this episode, but I didn't like how I was right about we're not gonna see a Moon Knight.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, man. Actually, really angry about that, and I was like happy that Steve died. I'm not gonna say I'm happy that Steve died, but I'm like happy that he died because I know he's gonna come back.
That's funny that you say that because that's exactly why I'm not happy that he died.
Because you know he's gonna come back.
I know he's gonna come back because
it's stupid. Why do this? I kind of hate when they do that with main characters too.
Right, because it's like, come on, man. We know, like in Bad Boys 3, when they had Will Smith get shot in the middle of it, and then they had the funeral fake out. It's like, we know he's not dead. We know you're not going to kill Will Smith.
You paid this nigga $28 million and then you're just going to kill him? No.
Right.
You're going to have fat Martin Lawrence move through the rest of the movie? He's the main guy.
Right.
It's just going to be fat Martin Lawrence revenging Mike Lowry's death. Like, no.
Yeah, right.
No. I mean, look, the same with the Rosario Dawson's television show on HBO Max. What's that shit called?
DMZ.
DMZ. That shit sucked because the whole show is basically what you said.
Right. It's fake out.
She's not gonna die. She's not gonna die. Do something else.
Right.
Cause she not gonna die.
Right. Yeah. Like one of the
So I feel that.
To go too far off the beaten path. Like one of the things that I've always found the most interesting when I'm reading Batman comics. Because, obviously, you see Batman in Peril, you know he's not going to die. But the most interesting thing about it is like when these writers tend to put him in these seemingly like impossible to get out of situations, and they write incredibly creative ways for him to get out of it. Like that's always like the interesting way. It's like I know he's not gonna die, but how is he gonna get out of it? Like that's the most interesting thing.
It's about what they do. Oh, that was gross. I'm sorry. What they do is they're able to say, hey, let's talk. Let's do the internal dialogue in a comic book.
Right.
They're able to do that internal dialogue, so they're able to like be like him working out how he's gonna get out of this.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Which makes like that kind of narrative a little bit difficult to translate to, or that medium.
Well,
like
that's why I kind of
translate to.
You're right, and that's why I like what they did with the Batman. Sorry, taking it, etc. It's loud. But yeah, that's why I like what they did with the Batman, with him having a little internal monologue, voiceover action. All my life, I always wanted to be a gangster. Oh, that's not that's not how that's a different movie. But you know what I'm saying,
right? Yeah. No, definitely. And I did like a lot of things that they did with this episode, but like logistically with what the characters were trying to get accomplished, I didn't really like I didn't like what they like the fact that what they were doing through the episode was to get where they ended at the end.
Jesus,
it's hard to explain.
I'm dropping stuff like crazy.
Butterfingers over here.
Fucking Conchu over here.
Johnny Five Thumbs over here.
I'm fucking Birdface over here. I'm fucking Conchu over this motherfucker.
But yeah, like we'll get into it a little bit later. But yeah, I liked a lot of like the psychological things that they did, delving into like the differences between Steven and Mark. But like the fact that it was like the thing that's what they were trying to do to get off the boat, and like seemed kind of dumb. I didn't really get it.
Hey man, let's talk about what we're talking about.
Let's talk about what we're talking about.
You're not supposed to understand Egyptian folklore and fucking religion. It's 20,000 years old, allegedly. Let's talk about what we're talking about.
So like the hippopotamus-headed woman,
beautiful person,
God,
God,
who Grant identifies as the Egyptian goddess Taweret. She explains this to Mark and Steven that they are dead.
You all dead.
That the hospital that they're actually inside is a boat sailing through the Duat. Now, I feel like that this is kind of what, earlier, I think at the beginning of the episode, Harrow is explaining to Mark that, psychologically you can create these places like a library or a psychiatric hospital. It's like, or a psychiatric hospital to like sort of cope with what's like, as a coping mechanism, what's going on. I feel like maybe this is just like the milliseconds of him about to die, and like this is all just kind of like happening. He's working shit out in his mind / in the afterlife,
life flashing before your very eyes.
Yeah.
No, you're wrong. I mean, that's very nice. I like what you're saying, but what he is, you got to remember, we've been doing nothing but dealing with Egyptian folklore in this, and mostly the comic is basically like that.
Right.
There's like 3 different types of god pantheons in the Marvel universe, right? You have the Zeuses and the whatever. Then you
mentioned that there are a bunch of afterlives or different afterlives,
and you have of course, we've seen it because in the Black Panther. We've seen that one,
right?
And
which
then we've seen the Nordic one with Thor, right? So we've seen
Valhalla.
We've seen that there's all these different types of afterlives and gods. So like gods exist in this crazy universe that we exist in. And what we're seeing now is the Egyptian version. So we're being. I feel like that's what's happening. We're having it explained to us, like food, spoon fed to us. Like, here you go. Like, this is this and this, and this is why they don't interfere in these things. Why didn't they mess ones? Why weren't they? Well, excuse me. Where were they when Thanos was around and all that. Like, this is the excuses, these are the answers, and in the meantime, we get a little explanation of who Mark Spector is. You know what I mean? Like, we're like, they're opening it up to a whole nother realm of level. I feel like, was it phase 5? This is phase 5?
I think so. Yeah, this is phase 5.
So I feel like phase 5 is just an opening up of different levels of the Marvel universe.
Right.
Like bringing in the Daredevils and the Jessica Joneses and the Luke Cages. People understand that shit is about to pop off because it's just you haven't heard anything about it because Netflix is not Disney, and Disney will not be leaking shit just to get people to subscribe early.
Right, yeah.
Like, they don't care if you subscribe to Disney Plus. Disney Plus will exist on its own because children will always be made. And we will always need something to shut them up.
They have an interesting duality of, like, the kids who will always want to watch all the kids' material and their parents who will always want to watch the nostalgia bait of...
And their parents who will always want their kids to shut the fuck up. Like, let's stop being... Like,
they'll show their kids fucking like Inside Out, and then when they go to sleep, they'll watch The Mandalorian.
Or they'll watch The Mandalorian with their kid, and when their kid goes to sleep, they'll watch the Apple Dumpling Gang.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, come on, man. Like, it sells itself. They don't need to do anything for it. That's why you see very little to no advertisement for it since it came out. People.
While they're both on the boat, the hippopotamus lady, Towerette.
Which I do like now. Hey, let me see this. Let me see the name. So, where's the name? What is it? Towerette. Yes, you're right. Yeah, you're right, man. Say it with your chest. You're right. That's Towerette.
Yeah, sure, yeah. She weighs their hearts on the scales of justice to determine whether they will be allowed to enter the field of reeds, and advises them to help each other uncover the hidden memories causing their imbalance. So I guess they just have to, like, go through all of their memories until they have a revelation. Like
Mark said later, we could just talk. We could just have a conversation. We don't have to actually do all this, go through everything.
It's funny that,
but I thought it was crazy that their options were basically, you got to go die and go to heaven, or you can stay here in purgatory. Like, that was their options basically. Like, because like you can go find your memories and connect with each other and balance your hearts, balance your scales. Excuse me, and then go to the heavens,
right?
Or you can stay here,
right? There
was no like in between. I was like, damn, that's what death is right there.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's
like we got to pick between staying here in the frozen sands with all these people I killed.
Right. It's an interesting, I guess, like way of showing this form of the afterlife. It was a little weird because, like you said, it seems like they could have just had a conversation to work this out. But it is visually more interesting, I guess, for them to see the memories.
I mean, it's not what I pointed out. I mean, it's what Oscar Isaac pointed out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't think he was talking about the context of the show, though. Like,
no, he was. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He was talking about. Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
you're saying I wasn't talking about the context of the show either. I was just talking about that they actually had to have a conversation. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. We probably didn't have to have that.
And I did really like that moment where, like, Steve was trying to press him about, Steve was trying to press Mark about confronting his trauma, and he just like sort of like physically flipped out, and like that kind of just like sent him back into. Like even further into his subconscious. I thought that was a really interesting, cool choice. And speaking of,
well, I mean, it's what happens to him in his. That's what his condition is,
right? Yeah, like, and they did a
avoiding
good job
conflict
of, like,
and
right,
recessing into
right. Yeah, I've actually seen like videos and like read different studies about like people who multiple personality disorder, where like how these things develop. And
did you watch that Billy documentary? Like,
I didn't watch all of it. No,
but you,
yeah.
We talked about this. Yeah. First of all, I just want to say, sometimes me and Alex, we will have a conversation on this podcast that y'all just don't understand. Well, for 2 seconds, it'll be like, what they talking about? Yes, it is some inside shit going on. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, because we brothers, God damn it, that's just what happens. You know, so and I apologize. You know what I'm saying? But you can just follow us on.
But I mean, like, I wasn't. We weren't making it particularly inside. Like, we were.
No, I'm talking about that Billy shit. Like, oh, did you watch the Billy shit? There's a show on Netflix.
Yeah, there's a
And we're not talking about that because we're not. That's not what this is about. You know what I'm saying? Google that shit. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was talking about.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it gets brotherly over here.
Right. But yeah, like I did appreciate the way that they depicted, the inception of Steven and like how he used it as like a coping mechanism to deal with like the intense trauma that he had as a child. Happens a lot with people with this kind of
right.
disorder.
People like us would know that because we've done the research. But I'm glad that they showed it because most people wouldn't understand that. Yeah, and I also like how they showed Mark seeing Steven's memories.
Yeah.
And him being like, oh, shit, that's crazy. Like, because, like, it shows that, like, no, Mark can't always see what Steven's doing, and Steven can't always see what Mark is doing.
Right. Yeah, I liked that.
So it shows you how in the dark these characters are most of the time.
Right.
And I have a prediction that Jake will not be in the dark as much as these guys are.
Right. Oh, you think he can see the whole
I think for some reason he can see everything.
Okay, yeah. And I thought that like that was gonna be what needed to tip the scales, was them actually acknowledging Jake.
Me too.
Which honestly I think it would have been a little bit more interesting than them just like, well, now
losing Steven.
Yeah, because like I don't know, I just remember like one of my professors early on in like playwriting.
Shout him out.
Writing. Lee Shackelford.
Lee
used to write for Star Trek Next Generation.
Lee.
But I just remember him saying like when I first started writing stuff, I used to
Does
like
Lee
kill
listen
characters.
To the podcast?
I'm sure he does not. I'm sure he doesn't.
Come on, Lee. Do something better. Do something better with your life. Step on something. Step onto a plane doing something better than yourself.
But yeah, just like
what did Lee tell you? Your professor.
Right. Yeah. I remember him saying that like killing characters off is just like it's kind of a lazy way to progress things. God damn, I completely forgot what we were talking about. Who died?
Steven.
Oh yeah, Steven. Yeah. It's just like a weird, quick way to balance these scales without delving into this like other sarcophagus. And like we do have a whole nother episode to dive into whether Jake does or doesn't exist, and whether that would like create a balance or imbalance in his soul. Which I feel like it's very weird that there is a balance in his soul, even though that there are all these dead bodies that are still like. I'm surprised that he didn't like see anybody in that cafeteria. He's like, oh, I don't recognize that person because I didn't kill that guy because that was Jake. You know what I mean? Like that was kind of weird that we never stumbled.
But maybe because Jake's not out.
Yeah, possibly. Like maybe he just wasn't represented in that. But I mean,
because
like,
we can only see their memories because they're the only ones that are out seeing their memories.
Right. But I just like if we're talking about like afterlife weighing someone's good and bad.
I understand. Yeah, but
like
to your point, Jake's not out. He's in a fucking tomb essentially.
Right.
He's locked up. So we can't weigh his heart.
True.
We can't see his memories. He has to be able to see his memories for the others to see his memories.
Right.
So to your
that's
point,
an interesting philosophical question, like, that it raises, like, since they're not acknowledging that part of themselves that did these acts, does that mean that they're not responsible for those actions?
They're not. That's why the scales wouldn't balance.
Right. Yeah, it's like it's very interesting because like like it does a lot to deal has a lot to deal with like identity and.
Oh, you're going into the legal shit. Like, does this nigga go to jail if he fucking kills this bitch? If he raping 6 bitches as Tommy, does he get to go to jail as Billy?
Well, not even just like legality.
I'm just saying.
Like,
no, I know what I'm saying,
yeah.
but that's what you're stepping into when you're asking those types of questions.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Who's
like,
responsible? That's,
I understand who's responsible for these actions? Is Mark gonna feel any guilt, or Mark or
of
Steven
course,
gonna
Mark
feel guilt?
definitely feels guilt, as you see, because he didn't know who killed those dudes on the roof, and he was like, I didn't do it. He could have easily just been like, man, shut up, Steven.
I feel
Even if he knew
weird.
he didn't kill him, he just like, shut the fuck up, Steven. I just killed these niggas, and I don't give a fuck.
I just find it a little weird, and again, we got one more episode. Who knows how long it's gonna be? But I found it weird that in this thing where we're trying to like balance the morality of your life. We're not asking any questions about those dead bodies. It's like, oh, I didn't kill that person. You didn't kill that person. Who's that third personality?
So much going on, though. So much going on. Like, it keeps pushing. And so I understand what you're saying, but that's why they were able to push past that.
Right.
But also, to your point about there only being one episode left, it's like, what the fuck are you supposed to get done in one more episode? Like, you haven't explained anything. And so I think, my humble opinion, they just gonna cut this shit short. There ain't gonna be no ending to this season.
I do feel like like the more I watch this, I do feel like there's just gonna be a movie that they're gonna announce at the end of this.
Oh no, won't be no movie.
You don't think so?
No, listen to what I think. I'm so glad you said that there will be a movie, because you basically fast forwarded to my argument at the end. It's like watching Bill Maher's New Rules and knowing what the last new rule is going to be at the end. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So yeah, like my theory is that he's going to find out what's going on, get out, connect with himself, and then the next season is going to be about stopping Herat, whatever the fuck this
Amit.
Amit. Next season is really going to be about tackling that.
Right.
If not, it'll be some other villain that reveals itself very mid to late of the episode that's coming up next Wednesday.
You know, it's funny that you even bring that up, because like of like the idea of Amit being a threat that carries on into like another season or another property, because it feels like that's like the least, or at least like this is one of the storylines I'm the kind of least interested in. It's like, yes, okay, we have this existential crisis that may destroy the world. We already know that that's not going to happen. So like all the stuff that's more interesting to me is like all the stuff with Mark and Steven and like his backstory.
To your point, perhaps that's why they focus mostly on that and not the action, not the hey, let's show more of this suit. Hey, let's get the character doing this and doing that.
Right.
Maybe they focused more on, hey, this is the psychology of because it's based very heavily on a comic series in which they basically do this.
Right. Yeah. The comic book series, Asylum specifically. Yeah.
Right. And shout out to Comic Book Trap House.
Yeah. Shout out to
Comic Book Trap House put us on Moon Knight. You know what I'm saying? Really, facts.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
They the ones that really told us which comic books to look at, and they gave us that research before the show came out.
Yeah, and this the way that they delve into like all the psychology of this character is really, really interesting, and it kind of reminds me of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show in the sense that like they delve into a lot of like the like thematic nuances of like everything that's going on, and then like we get the big da 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 at the end. Now we get Captain America in the suit at the end, and maybe then we get an announcement of a movie. So that's the only reason it feels like we might get an announcement of a movie at the end of this, or maybe they just announced the second season after this.
Yeah, I think this is meant to be a television show. This is what I'm saying. I don't know if I read this somewhere or if I just really think that this is where they should go. I've definitely said it on this podcast. Marvel has to downsize, has to get more grounded because it's been so intergalactic. They have to get more grounded, and they've kind of done that with the last few television series.
Right.
Winter Soldier and Falcon. What's that other show called?
Hawkeye?
Yeah, Hawkeye. And then I was actually thinking about, even though it's kind of crazy, but WandaVision.
Oh, right.
It's grounded.
Yeah, it's more like emotionally grounded.
You know what I mean? Like, it's, hey,
right.
We're here.
Right.
This is personal. These are people's emotions. And
yeah, the stakes are not like world
intergalactic.
Right.
This planet's going to die and this planet's going to be blown up or whatever the fuck. Like, the star is going to wipe out none of that shit. None of that shit. So, I feel like, and there's no eternal shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all back to being grounded.
Right.
And we know for a fact that we're about to go back into the Daredevils and we know for a fact that Spider-Man himself is getting back more grounded because he's losing all the tech.
Right.
He's losing all. I feel like phase 5 or whatever phase we're in is about resetting and bringing everything back to a grounded level to put X-Men out.
Okay. Yeah.
And because X-Men is very grounded.
Yeah, they
see what I'm saying?
They have a wide range. They
do
grounded
but
stories.
I'm saying, but to be honest, but if you want to tell their story right,
you could have to start grounded.
You have to stay grounded for like fucking 10 years. Then you have to expand as the story expands. You can't just rush it.
Right.
So I think that we're in for, minus the Miss Marvel, Captain Marvels, and the Thors, which actually I'm predicting right now, Thor is going to be more grounded.
Oh yeah.
But the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Captain Marvels, those are going to be really out there. We're going to definitely get it with Doctor Strange. It's going to be crazy, but I still feel like Doctor Strange is going to be grounded. I don't think it's going to go outside of what we basically saw. I think it's going to be grounded in the sense that we're just going to stay within the universe that is Earth C28 or whatever. I don't know what the fuck. Goddamn Earth.
Yeah, forget the number. I used to know.
There is But you know what you get confused with is the goddamn Rick and Morty Earth. That's what it is. That's what it is.
I think it's. Yeah, I want to say it's Earth 313, but
no, it is Earth 313, and then Earth C28 is goddamn Rick and Morty's.
Okay, yeah,
and if we're wrong, let us know in the comments.
Or maybe I'm just thinking of California's zip code. I mean, area code. I don't know. But
that may be where it was. That might be why they call it
right. Yeah, because I actually, sorry, not to like totally deviate, but I've been noticing that a lot of Star Trek spaceships are named for like street names in Los Angeles. I was like, the Farragut. That's a fucking Star Trek spaceship.
The Lexington, the Cerritos.
It's like, this is crazy.
The Marmion Way.
And like Enterprise is like very, like
the Monte Vista. Son of a bitch. But wait a minute now. The Los Feliz Enterprise. Wait a minute. The SS Los Feliz.
The 101.
Hold on now, goddammit. I ain't gonna stand for this. The 405.
The USS 405.
God damn it.
But yeah, like so.
USS Melrose. I just have to say it. That's the Paramount. That's on Paramount Melrose. I have to say.
Oh yeah.
I have to say it.
CBS. So Steven and Mark convince Towerette the hippo lady to let them return to the living world to stop Harrow, and she steers the boat towards the gates of Osiris.
She was like, you know what? I'm gonna fuck with y'all. You're right. Y'all like, kind of fucking weird too.
Yeah, like it seems so like weirdly and like it just seems like the rules are just like whatever. Like if you die, you can kind of convince the lady.
Nope. What happened is they were able to convince her what's this motherfucker? Khonshu couldn't convince the other gods.
Oh, that's
hey man,
which is like so,
don't you see this nigga's doing some fucked up shit? But what did we say earlier? Last episode,
right?
Motherfuckers wasn't like Khonshu was just not a good communicator of things,
right?
Like, hey man, why don't you let us tell them what's going on,
right? You know,
yo dumbass don't know how to talk,
right? You know, it does seem like they are tapping on a thing of like just like these ethereal gods having like so much power and so much like disconnection from humans, because she even says like, oh, we haven't even had like a spirit pass through here in a long time. She has to fucking dust off her script. Like they're touching on a thing on like this disconnect from humanity and how they're just so disillusioned that I feel like, you know, this is a show called The Good Place that does like a really good job of like talking about like the afterlife and how all these like characters have like no real understanding of like how humans like interact and how like they feel and like the nuances of just life.
Well, I think in this situation it's more because of that, because these specific quote unquote gods need people to be worshiping them for you to be able to pass through their physical planes,
right?
And because people have turned away from them, therefore they don't have people there. That's why it's like the dusting off of the. It's not that people don't die.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're definitely not.
I'm just saying for our listeners and for our, you know, little nerds out there.
Right, yeah, like they do explain like there's like different like afterlives, and that's why like this it's been a while since these like she specifically hasn't interacted with anybody, but kind of like how we were saying like the parallels between them and like the gods in this series and like the Jedi Order in the Star Wars, they're kind of disillusioned, and because of that they make bad decisions because they're like sort of governing the protection of the humans, but they don't really understand like the nuances of humanity. So like they're overlooking the fact that Harrow is very obviously doing some horrible shit if you would just look and pay attention.
They're not overlooking it, they just don't believe Khonshu.
Yeah, I mean, but like,
which is I'm just saying, to my point, I just believe they're just like, overlooking. They're not overlooking. They just be like, man, this nigga crazy. Which is why he was. I'm just saying, look how easily Mark was able to convince, as a crazy person, he was able to convince another deity. No, man, let us go back.
Right.
She was like, you know what? You're right.
You might be right. Yeah.
You're actually right. Because look at all this crazy shit. This is not normal. None of this is weird. This is all weird. Fuck it. I'm turning around.
And
so I'm just saying, so to your point, they could have easily done that. I mean, the writers could have easily done that. But it was lazy writing, as Lee would have said.
Right.
He would have said, man, this shit's lazy. Because and see, you got to be listening to the podcast to really know who I'm talking about right now. You know what I'm talking about? But you know what I'm saying? As Lee would have said, that's lazy writing, because you know what I'm saying? You're trying to force us to a point.
Right.
Where really we could have gotten there earlier, 2-3 episodes ago. You know what I'm saying? We really could have got there earlier. And let's write and develop something else that, you know, pushes the story along. Actually pushes the story along. But what do I always say about Disney Plus TV shows?
They like to show and then tell and then show again.
No, yeah, but that's because we're watching a children's television show.
Yeah,
we're watching a children's show. Whatever it comes out, even if you got to put your code in to watch it, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You got to put your parental code in. It doesn't matter.
I wasn't sure. Is this a show that you have to have the code for? I don't know. I didn't
know.
I had to put my code for Daredevil.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I put in my code for Daredevil. I wasn't sure if this.
Well,
was
no,
like
you put. I have to put this in just to turn on my shit.
Right.
I don't know if they just saw my Facebook page or something. I don't know what like.
Well, I think like
I know how it works.
Once
I
don't know how it works.
Nope,
Okay.
we're not going to explain that. Okay. We're not trying to sell goddamn Disney Plus. Goddamn it, we fuck Disney Plus. Goddamn, till they send us a check. You know what I'm saying? And I love Disney.
Man, fuck Disney. I'm trying to get that Shutter money.
The Shutter money. I'm trying to get that CNN Plus money. No, I'm joking. They literally just went bankrupt.
They're literally not a thing anymore.
I'm trying to get that goddamn
CNN Plus.
Trying to get that DVD money.
Trying to get that Quibi money.
Yeah, trying to get that Quibi.
But yeah, so we do get the scene, like we get a lot of flashbacks, you know, where like Mark and Steve see the overlap in each other's past. Like you said, like they don't really remember each other's backs, like, you know, memories up until the point where their mom dies. So like, you know,
I said that a couple episodes ago, and I'm glad you just said that. You know what I'm saying?
Like their mom's passing was like the catalyst for their
No. I was just saying, like, it just so happened to be like kind of like a Brit, like something that you could notice, like,
right,
who's putting these postcards up,
right,
if the mom's not actually there and they have these split personalities,
right.
You know what I'm saying? We never seen a mom. Who is he talking to?
Right.
And we see him talking to other people. He don't know who the fuck. Like, they don't say nothing. So like, clearly, Steven is the crazy one,
right,
or the crazy version.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's so like we see the flashback of Mark as a child with his brother. They go out into like some like
he killed his brother. No.
They go out to a cave and his brother ends up drowning because he
it's
insisted.
very heavily insinuated that his brother ends up drowning in, because we don't see anything.
Right.
It's a very beautiful thing about Disney, and that's what I liked. I think that's why both of us liked this episode. There was a lot of dark shit that happened in this specific episode, but they didn't actually show us anything.
Right.
And they literally, like, boy got his ass whooped, baby
Right,
drowned.
they didn't really show that, yeah.
Mama didn't show up to the motherfucking birthday, and goddamn mama died. We don't see how she died. We don't know why she died.
Right.
She just died. Like, a lot of things were insinuated, shown, not told.
Yeah.
They went back to what we like.
Yeah, like they told. Oh yeah. They just showed it, but
Right. They went right back to what we like. And
But,
so
yeah.
I'm just saying. So I think this is why this is probably one of our favorite episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what? Weird. It's like the Halo episode. Like, this is the latest episode that we like the most, and also the Halo episode is the episode that we like.
It's like it doesn't always have to be like whiz bang, let's like explosions and fight scenes.
It doesn't.
Like
it doesn't.
It's right. Good writing is good writing.
It's a good write, but fuck, man, where is the suit? This is why we should have more suit at the beginning. That way we don't have to come back in here and try to make up for it in one episode, because we're not gonna see enough suit in the last episode.
Right. Which is why I feel like, I think is why I'm hoping that we'll get a movie announcement at the end of this, because like it does.
Well, I'll tell you
I'm
what.
really hoping that it's like, I know we didn't get a lot of Moon Knight in the show, but we're gonna get like, you know, big budget movie later.
If we get a movie announcement, it's gonna be because he's gonna be in a movie with the Black Knight and Blade.
That'd be cool, but like
I'm just saying. No,
I
I'm
told
just
you what I feel about
No,
that.
I'm just telling you. You say what?
I told you how I felt about that whole thing. Oh, on one of the other pods. We be drinking, but like how they just like be marginalized and like people of color is like.
But I don't think that's what's gonna happen. Blade's gonna get a movie. Black Knight's gonna get a movie,
and Moon Knight.
and Moon Knight's gonna get a movie with the two.
Right.
That's how
funny
I believe.
Right.
That's my theory as to what's actually gonna happen if we get a movie announcement.
Right.
And I think it's more likely that we get a television announcement of such a thing, right? Like I said, trying to keep it more grounded, but also trying to make the dark universe of Marvel more of a thing.
Right. Yeah, I would. I mean, like honestly, I would.
Which also, this is a real thing for us and for the comic people who don't read comics who listen to this podcast.
I mean, like again, I wouldn't be mad if we got like a buddy cop type show with Black Knight and Blade. That would be cool. And like Moon Knight, that'd be really, really cool. But it's my goddamn my racism senses be tingling.
I'm saying I think we're gonna get all of the above.
No, right. No.
I feel the nigga senses tingling. I'm just saying. I think we're gonna get both.
Yeah.
I mean, two things can be true,
right?
Without the racism.
But yeah, Dr. Harrow, not Dr. Harrow, fucking Steven, we mentioned that he falls off the boat, he turns into a sand person, and that somehow balances the scales, and Mark ends up in the field of reeds, the afterlife, which is all like happy sunshine shit.
I mean, basically, he comes to grips with the fact that his mom was a terrible person. Steve falls off the boat, and he's got to go figure shit out.
Yeah.
My thing is, that was really dumb. You know what? I don't like this episode no more. I fucking hate this episode.
I just didn't like the ending, yeah.
Because now we got to go through. I'm like, how long is this fucking episode going to be in the last episode?
Yeah.
Because... Man, fuck this show, man. Fuck this show. I don't like this show no more.
It was
Sorry,
a very
people.
weird.
Sorry if you've been struggling with us. I don't like this show no more. I hate it.
I don't like it no more. It was an interesting emotional journey for like the two of these characters.
Fuck them characters, man.
It did seem like a weird like cop out where it feels like we just started to get into the meat of it. And like I feel like this is the time we should have introduced Jake and dealt with the other parts of what the fuck's going on with him, but instead we just like killed one, and it's like we took a bite out of a really big philosophical pie, and then just like took 2 chews, spit it out, and was like, I ate the whole thing. I was like, no, we didn't really get into it a whole lot.
Yeah, it was stupid. I forgot about the ending, and I was like, I just watched it this morning. I forgot about the ending. You know what? Fuck that goddamn ending. I actually watched it yesterday. Sorry.
But before...
Fuck that ending.
Before we finish it up, I do want to say that I did like Ethan Hawke's performance as like the doctor a little bit more than him as...
That's really annoying.
The other guy. Oh, really?
You know why?
Why?
Because it's the exact same performance. So that's why.
Oh, you think it's the same performance?
Yes, and that's what I was like. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, sure.
I'm just saying, nigga put his hair in a ponytail, and you was like, I like this performance. His hair was long. You know what it actually is? I think you just don't like the long hair, man. I think you don't like
man,
Ethan Hawke with long hair. That's what it. Because you know why?
Yeah,
you know why?
Sure,
I'm just saying. You know why it is? It ain't actually that you don't like him with long hair. It's just that he looks like David Carradine. And so it fucks with your mind, and you're like, you know what? Fuck David Carradine. And then that's what messes with your mind.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. He's got the kung fu outfit.
Yeah,
he's doing maybe that's what it is. He's doing a David Carradine impression when he's got the fucking kung fu outfit on.
Right.
And then he's acting like Ethan Hawke when he's got.
No, he's doing the same. He's first of all, he's
really
always
not.
acting like Ethan Hawke all the time.
He's
first of all,
noticeably got more. Like he's clearly trying to
it's just a little bit more emotion. I'm just trying to tell you, it's this,
which is all I want.
No,
I just
first of
want
all,
a
Alex, you gotta understand, Ethan Hawke only be doing Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke is not a great act.
I like Ethan Hawke a lot.
I love Ethan Hawke. You not listening? I said he's not a great actor, and so he's always doing Ethan Hawke.
It's funny that you. Sorry. What were you about to say? No,
I'm just saying. I've said everything.
It's something that I'm listening to the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia podcast, and Charlie Day was talking about an acting coach that he had in college, and he said like Charlie had booked this job, like this gig with Ethan Hawke, and he went to his acting coach, and he was like, oh man, I just got a job with Ethan Hawke. I'm like super excited. And he said, then my acting coach, I swear to God, this is just how he talked. After I told him I had a job with Ethan Hawke, he said, Ethan Hawke has dead eyes.
Okay.
I heard
Ethan Hawke has dead eyes.
Now That person clearly sounded like an insane person.
Ethan Hawke.
But I thought that was like a funny. I thought that was funny.
Like Ethan Hawke is now. I'm just saying, Ethan Hawke. Yeah, no, it's a great story, but Ethan Hawke is now doing better than you thought he was going to do in this series, and that's basically the point that we were trying to make. I'm just saying that we were trying to make because you were very upset with him at the beginning, and now you like it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like his depiction in one aspect, but I like his depiction in another aspect. I always like him as an actor, but but. Yeah, we'll see how this last episode turns.
Dead eyes.
We'll see how this last episode turns out. They're gonna have to cram in a lot of shit. But thanks for listening to Drunk Banthas podcast. We do this every once in a while, so go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, so you can get updates on new episodes of the pod and new video essays from yours truly. Check us out on Twitter, IG, TikTok, likewise, all the internet things at Drunk Banthas. Till next time, stay safe, my little dead eyes, and may the force be with you.